Okay, it is actually 1 o'clock, so hopefully we'll have a few more participants joining. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. My name is Rose Mape, and I'm the director of the Pennsylvania Association of Bed and Breakfast. Today's webinar that we have, thank you all for joining us. I see we have a number of members and we have a few non-members. So I hope that you'll see value in our educational webinars. We have a whole series, and that you will consider joining our association in the coming weeks and months. So with that, I'd like to introduce today's speaker. It is Travis Orton. Travis is the Director of Public Relations as ResNexus. He joined ResNexus 2.5 years ago after 6 years working in association management for a Washington, D.C. firm. He has been active with lodging associations throughout the world and has presented for many different regional and national associations. With ResNexus, Travis has been able to personally visit hundreds of inns in 22 states as part of the ResNexus road trip program. Travis loves getting to know innkeepers, learning about their properties, and helping them find solutions to their problems. And with that, I'm going to turn it over to Travis. Let me make him the host now.
Thank you, Rose. Let's see here. We will stop sharing your screen and share my screen. Yes.
You want me to hit stop share on my, okay.
So hopefully you can all see my screen.
Okay, I can, Travis.
All right. Well, welcome. Thank you for having me. As Rose said, my name is Travis. Been with ResNexus a couple of years. I've kind of made my way around. Some of you may have met me the last time we were up in Pennsylvania with ResNexus Road Trip. That's a program ResNexus does for our customers. It's a lot of fun. We go out and visit inns and review their system, give them free photography, drone footage, and I was counting it up. I've been to over 400 inns in 22 states, and we've got 9 more trips for this year. So we're I was talking with one of your board members. We're planning a trip out there to Pennsylvania in first quarter or second quarter of next year. So maybe we'll see some of y'all. But I'm going to go over marketing trends of the near and far, or excuse me, of the near future and far beyond. Now, again, this is me, just a little about me. This is my beautiful wife. I spent the last 6 years before coming to ResNexus in Washington, D.C. I was the director of industry affairs for an association management firm. So like PABI and some of those, most of ours were national and international associations that wanted to be in Washington, D.C. We had some travel, hospitality, and leisure associations, and it was a lot of fun to work with them. When it comes to this, the real thing is data. We are data driven here at ResNexus, and our marketing tips and these tips that we're going to go today is going to be lots of research that we've done, lots of research that we have done from our partners. We have close partnerships. I know they're a necessary evil and they're not always great, but we have great partnerships with the OTAs, particularly Airbnb, and we have done some joint studies with them over the past 10 months. And so we have a lot of data, and we've been able to kind of sift through it, and hopefully we can clarify what we need to be focusing on. Now, first, the elephant in the room, COVID has hit us hard. It hit the world like a sledgehammer in the face, and it turned our world literally upside down. All of a sudden, hotel check-ins look like this. I'm sure some of you have seen rooms that look like this for the enhanced cleaning. Restaurants looked like this. Stay-at-home orders. A little about the revenue. 2019 hotel revenue was booming. It was one of its largest years ever in recorded history in the United States. 2020 did not go so well. You see, COVID hits around late February, early March, and it takes a nosedive. In the hotel industry alone, It was 77 billion in the whole travel and leisure industry, which includes airlines and things of that nature. It was a little over $500 billion, so $500 billion lost, or less, I should say, than the 2019 revenue. Occupancy, you look at what revenue did. Occupancy follows a very similar trend. We in 2019 saw occupancy rates through the roof. 2020 hits and we go down. In Labor Day of 2019, 41% of all available lodging rooms in the United States of America were booked. In 2020, on Labor Day weekend, it was 14%. That gives you just kind of an idea of how large of a hit this took. And it wasn't just us. We actually have come out of this better than most. You look at Asia and the Pacific and the Middle East and Africa, they are much more dependent on tourism dollars, and they have been hammered even worse than we have. Europe was worse than us. Central America is the only one that did better than us, and just barely. Um, so travel trends for this year, and you're going to see these reoccur a few times as we talk about the marketing aspect that goes along with this. But you'll see we we take a dive. This is 2021. We've already kind of been recouping a little bit. In first quarter, we're a little about $6.5 billion by April, and we forecast that to be going up in the second quarter, April through September. That's everyone's busy time. Forecast for the yellow line in the middle there, that's 2021 hotel revenue, and so we think it will outpace 2020, but it's not going to blow it away. But it is going to do better. Obviously, you see it has a long way away from 2019, and then we'll finish out the year doing better than 2020 as well, not taking that big of a nosedive. That's the forecast. Obviously, some sort of COVID variant or something could change all of this, but the marketing trends we have been seeing and that have been effective and that we believe will be effective kind of follow these same lines of projections of who's going to be traveling, where they're going to be traveling, and why they're going to be traveling. And this is just one more little thing to show you the difference. The total forecast, your ADR $109 in this year compared to $131 in 2019, and RevPAR will increase from 2020, but it's still going to be a far cry from what we knew as normal. In fact, the U.S. hospitality industry, they believe it'll be 2024 before we ever get back to the 2019 normals. So what does all that data mean? Well, it means guest expectations have changed, and COVID-19, as kind of much like 9/11 changed the airline industry, COVID-19 has changed how we're going to be seeing the travel industry. And I presented not too long ago at a regional association about the way the traveler expectations or guest expectations, and these were the 8 things that were kind of top of mind that we found were the biggest things people are expecting. So cleanliness, focus on experiences, food and dining expectations. They expect new technology to come in and bridge the gap for many things. A lot of hotels are doing more with less, and technology is picking up that slack. Sustainability, communication. People want to know what's going on. They want you to let them know what kind of rules, regulations, new strategies, what things are closed, what things are not closed. They want to be up to date. Benefit extension and travel deals, and flexible policies. Now, these 8 things are going to influence and be intertwined heavily with the marketing strategies that we're going to go on here in this presentation. So I've broken this up in kind of three subdivisions: the marketing trends for kind of January through now, and then we'll do marketing trends for the mid-peak season, and then what do you need to know going forward in the future. So this is that first part. As I said, we're kind of stagnant, getting ready to gear up for our busy time. But the number one marketing trend is cleanliness. So travelers, they want to know that things are clean. They want to know that you have enhanced your cleaning, whether you have or you haven't. They want to think that you have, and so you need to be letting people know, hey, we have enhanced cleaning. Hey, we now do this. We now do that. Now you may have always been doing that, so phrase it as, we do have enhanced cleaning. We always have. This is what you can expect. But people are expecting cleanliness, and I'll show you why here in a second. A great example of a program or cleaning protocols that you can adopt is the AHLA, that's the American Hospitality and Lodging Association. They have industry guidelines that have been endorsed by the CDC, and they've partnered with some other private ventures, uh, cleaning companies and such. But you can get this on their website. It's free. You can download it, and then you can actually put these into place and get a little badge that you can stick on your website or in any of your marketing promotions that say you are part of the Stay Safe program for your cleanliness. And this will go a long way in helping people realize that you take cleaning seriously. So the AHLA, speaking of them right here, they did a study. They in late November, it was the week before Thanksgiving, they surveyed 20,000 travelers, and they asked them what are the top things that would increase the likelihood of you feeling comfortable staying at a hotel. And these were the answers in order of popularity. The number one was housekeeping on demand instead of daily housekeeping. 90% of them said that that was the most important thing. Um, so housekeeping on demand obviously is you don't go in every day. You tell the person when they check in, if you need us to freshen up your room, if you need new towels, please tell us. We're not going to go in every day automatically. You tell us when you want us to clean the room. People actually really like that right now because they know somebody's not coming in the room and touching stuff. Um, Number two, face coverings for employees. That was the number two thing in their survey. Number three was required face coverings for guests. That 85% of the people said that. Enhanced technology to reduce contact, so contactless checking. Transparent barriers at the front desk, the valet, or other areas of interaction. Clear signage outlining the cleanliness and safety protocols. I think this is something we're all becoming used to. This is just the new normal. You walk in, there's signs that say, hey, this is what you need to do. If you have a fever and stuff, please go home, and that kind of stuff. Let people know. Have signage that's clear. We're all getting used to it, and it will now. People will notice now if it's not there. And then floor markings for social distancing and reduced shared amenities. That things like reduced capacity at the gym, the pool, the spa. Now, as the vaccine rollout begins to happen and things can get a little more open, obviously some of these will probably decrease. But as of late November, this is what everyone was. These were the top responses to that survey of the AHLA of 20,000 travelers. So safety precautions, they will continue to be top of mind. Booking.com also did in January. They surveyed 15,000 people in 5 different countries, and 70% said that they want the property to clearly list the health and hygiene policies. Now, this is not just on site. You should list these on your website. You should list these on your confirmation emails if you have those. So people want to know what they're getting into. 75% they said they favor accommodations with sanitizing products, or that at least list that they have sanitizing products. and having the staff wear personal protective equipment. Um, that was important to people in Booking.com survey in January of this year. And as we said, here's an example of letting people know. Now, I stayed at a hotel just 2 months ago, and it was nice when I got there. The remote control was in a little Ziploc bag with a little note that said, "This remote has been sanitized for your use." Whether it has or it hasn't, I felt a lot more comfortable knowing that, hey, this has been disinfected, and they actually included a little wipe in the little plastic bag in case I wanted to wipe it down myself. And but it made me kind of feel, hey, they're taking this seriously. I know that the TV remote is one thing that everyone touches, and it was refreshing, but it was a way to advertise and say, hey, we have we take your cleanliness into consideration. And having adequate signage and ensuring your website is updated to highlight some of these features. And if you are in a state that requires, I don't know if Pennsylvania has a mask mandate right now or anything like that. I know a few states have gotten rid of them, but if you do, you want to make sure that you people know this, because if they're coming from out of state, or let's say in a month from now Pennsylvania says, okay, mask mandate is over, but if you as a innkeeper want to make masks mandatory on your private property, then you need to let that people know that, because you might get somebody who might not be into masks or is anti-mask, and they show up, and then they're leaving you a bad review because it was not clearly identified somewhere that they were required to have a mask, and they showed up thinking they could be maskless. So listing your cleaning guidelines on your website, and those is one thing. List them on the OTAs. We know OTAs are the bane of everyone's existence. They steal a ton of take a big chunk of your money. However, they are kind of a necessary evil at this time, and they are promoting cleanliness. So you look down here at the little highlighted box on Booking.com. There's the health and safety, and people, when they search, they can check that box, and it'll only show properties that have been listed as enhanced, that have enhanced cleaning practices. Same thing with Booking.com, and same thing, or excuse me, Expedia, and same thing with Airbnb. They have the enhanced clean factor as well. And so if you have not updated your profiles at these OTAs to show that you have that, you might not be showing up in many searches. If anybody searches with enhanced cleaning, and Airbnb claims that 48% of all their searches do have that checked. If you don't have that updated on your profile, you're not showing up on page one, or maybe not even at all. So make sure you're letting people know about your cleanliness. One other thing to draw, I didn't put a lot of this in the presentation, but this is something I'll just allude to right here. That second box down on the Airbnb picture in the middle, it says free cancellation for 48 hours. Think about having a flexible cancellation policy. So I know a lot of people don't have one, and it's not required, but the OTAs are also promoting flexible cancellation policies right now, and they are putting, all things being equal, if one inn has a flexible cancellation policy and one inn does not, they are promoting the one with a flexible cancellation policy on top of the one that has a rigid cancellation policy. So I'm not saying make it completely money back guarantee all the way till 24, 48 hours, but think about making it a medium, a little more than you have been. If you're doing well, that's fine. But if you're finding that your bookings are drying up, it's something to consider, as the OTAs are prioritizing those as well. Further with the cleanliness, minimalism is becoming the thing of the day. Reduce clutter. So a lot of people have a lot of the book in the room. Hotels and many of these inns, those are going away, because people come in and say, what are things that other people are touching, and I have this book that has information about the area or information about the inn. Those are going away. all the different communal clutter, the newspapers, the magazines, those are going away in a lot of places, um, because people want to go in, have it nice, have it clean, and they don't want to the idea that somebody else has been touching a lot of this stuff before them. They want to go in and see all these surfaces have been cleaned just for me. And magazines, newspapers, those communal books and things, those are difficult to clean in a very effective manner because many of them are paper based and things. And so just one thing to consider. I use this example. Look at this picture here, and then look at this next picture. What differences do you see? And I ask, um, specifically my wife. We stayed at a place in Yellowstone last year in 2020, and they had beds that looked similar to this. And I know a lot of people do, a lot of innkeepers do. It's charming, and there's nothing wrong with it. Post COVID, the first thing you think of is that blanket is not being washed every day. That blanket is going 3, 4, 5 reservations before it's being washed. And the first thing my wife and I know a lot of people, travelers and things that I've seen, first of all, those pillows, they go on the floor immediately. The blanket gets pulled down, and we don't want to touch that top side of the blanket because who knows who's been laying on there, who knows who's been doing any of that stuff. It's not easily cleanable, and people look at that and say this is not as friendly as it might need to be. Now, of course, you're going to find people out there that don't care. This is none of these things apply 100% of the time. I'm just letting you know the general trend is to move to something that's a little cleaner. I've stayed at a few hotels in the last 6 months, and every single one of them, they were able to grab essentially my whole bed and put it in their cart and replace it with something new. The top sheet, the comforter is essentially just a washable top sheet. So they just rip the whole thing off, put it in, put a brand new clean one on for whoever comes next. And I go in and I know that that's the case. I don't have to worry about anybody having used that blanket before me, or what kind of germs or anything may be on there. It is the wave of the future. Minimalist, clean, triple sheeting is a big one. Everything is washable. No more communal magazines, newspapers, guest directories, and they're now substituting those with printouts on check-in, emails, web pages, phones or tablets in the rooms. You're seeing those, and then of course reduce housekeeping on demand. They know that guests won't people won't be touching their stuff, and it promotes conservation. And for the innkeeper, it will reduce operating costs. Second is contactless. This is the wave of the future. A lot of people love it. It doesn't mean you have to get rid of contact, but a lot of people are going to contactless arrivals and departures and even meals. So online check-in, text messaging to be able to talk with guests, Wi-Fi or Bluetooth locks and things. So contactless is a great tool that is coming out, and people are beginning to expect it. So text messaging, you can have automated text messaging. There's many companies. I know ResNexus, we have text messaging integrated with the system, so you and any of your staff can text message right from your system. There's other ones out there like it. You can have welcome texts that are automated, so when the person gets on there, welcome to our bed and breakfast, or welcome to our resort. If ever you need to send out something, you can send text just to the people on property. Hey, the water's out, or hey, there's hot cookies in the kitchen, just been done. And then of course, there's when people leave, you can have automated text messages thanking them and asking them for reviews and things of that nature. It allows you to do more with less, and kind of make the next progression in technology. Other solutions include TouchStay. You've probably seen Wishbox. These are tablet-based things that you can have in your rooms. Now, of course, this is not required by any means. We're just letting you know this is what's coming and this is what's next. And it's actually already here for a lot of places, especially the boutique and the boutique industry. They have the tablets, and it's nice. They can just sanitize the top of the tablet, put a little note, and leave it for the customer. At ResNexus, we do we'll create an actual website. It's a landing page that you can then have a QR code or a link to when the customer is checking in. Even if they're just checking in online, you can have a text message to them, and they click it, and it pops up, and it's designed for either their tablet or their phone, and it does the same thing as the tablet and has the things to do, and it's an information page. Wi-Fi door locks. This is also, if any of you have anything that resembles a vacation rental, this is huge. But we have seen the Wi-Fi door locks take off. We originally thought it was only going to be for our vacation rental customers at ResNexus, and our bed and breakfast industry uses them 5 to 1 over anybody else. People can come in, they can check in on their phone, go right to the room, and it's a code that was emailed to them automatically, and it's either a random code or the last four of their phone number, whichever you choose. You can manage the whole thing right from your PMS, your ResNexus system. There's other systems out there that will do something similar, but this just allows people to go in and not have to worry about a key and handing the keys back and forth. You don't have to lose keys. So Wi-Fi door locks is also another contactless way, and then contactless for local restaurant and partnerships. We see people who might not be able, with restrictions in California and some of those places, bed and breakfast not being able to give certain food or not being able to cook without certain licenses. So they're making restaurant partnerships. There's a restaurant down the street, across the street, or close by, and you can contract with them to deliver breakfast or deliver meals. And in our system, we hook people up with Grubhub and have ways that you can connect with that. If you have your own restaurant, you can use. We recommend Lightspeed point of sale. They do some great stuff. You can have delivery to the room, that kind of thing. So keeping your eyes open for partnerships for giving food to keep that high level of hospitality without people worrying about being too close in proximity. All right, moving on from cleanliness, we beat cleanliness to death. Number 3 would be market to nearby stays. 2020 especially, but we're seeing this trend in 2021 as well. People are not traveling as far as they used to. International travel is all but stopped. So people are looking for somewhere to go within 300 to 500 miles. So you're going to have marketing to the staycations, marketing to the people that are work from home, and at least until the end of this school year, some of the kids who are still doing online schooling. This has been huge for this first quarter and was really big in 2020, because if you can go to school anywhere, why do you have to be at home? You can go get out of the house and go to a vacation rental, go get away. So Airbnb and Booking.com both have shared with us in some studies that the top searched amenities were Wi-Fi, kitchens, air conditioning, and parking. Parking was actually the number 3. Everyone's looking to on 1 and maybe 2 tanks of gas to drive to these places. They want to know if you have parking. Do I have to pay $20 for it? Is it free? If you have parking, advertise that. Put that in your promotional emails. Put that on your website. I have free parking. People are looking at that, especially near people that are coming from cities. If you're in Los Angeles or any of those places, you can't park anywhere under $20. So if you have free parking, that is actually a benefit. And it was the number 3 searched benefit on Booking.com and the number 4 on Airbnb in the last 10 months. So high-speed internet is crucial. This is something that we are seeing with the work from home crowd. You're getting cooped up at home. why not go work from a bed and breakfast? Why not go work from a vacation rental? Work from somewhere that's not your actual home, but if it's got to have good Wi-Fi. It's becoming something that everyone expects. Most people don't even watch TV anymore. They stream everything on Netflix, on HBO Max, on Disney Plus. So good Wi-Fi will be critical. All things being equal, 10 out of 10 times today, people are going to be choosing somebody with better Wi-Fi. We're even finding this in campgrounds, places that you normally would get away and go out in nature. The campgrounds are now being expected to have Wi-Fi because we found people that were working from home. They would camp and have a fire and everything, but be able to still keep in touch with work, with emails. Um, so and also, of course, when you're marketing the nearby stays, you can talk about the cleanliness. This was a strong, reliable internet, of course. Accenture, the business entity Accenture, they also do research. 50,000 travelers in September of last year that they spoke to, and of the Americans that had previously never worked from home, 46% of them said they are going to start working from home more in the future, at least a few days here and there, sprinkled in, usually at least one day a week. 30% of the Americans that already work from home claim that they are going to increase their work from home schedule in the future. And then Gallup polled in January of this year and found that 49% of Americans are going to incorporate work from home somewhere moving forward into 2021. So being able to offer something like that, a good structure of strong, reliable internet sure does help. Also, think about pet friendly. I know a lot of you don't have many pet friendly rooms. If you have a pet friendly room, advertise that. I particularly I don't have a pet, so I'm not fond of pet friendly places. However, if you are pet friendly, you should advertise that. If you have one room, make sure people know, because people are more likely to go work from home and take their pet with them to a place that they know they can do. So think about searching great deals, offering packages, and of course discounts for the family, and then the flexible book with confidence. You can get your deposit back within 30 days or something like that. These are things that people are expecting right now. So if you have them, you can set yourself apart by advertising them. The fourth thing, Google Ads and Google Hotels. This is something that is kind of diminishing, but for a while there in 2020 and early 2021, you were seeing Expedia and a lot of those, they cut their budgets for advertising. The only thing they were using in June of last year, we looked up, and Expedia and Orbitz and all of those, not a single ad in most places. The only thing they were advertising was VRBO or Vrbo, because those are vacation rentals. Those are just booming. That they're taking over the lodging industry, because people love the fact they can go get away, not have to see anybody, contactless check-in, that kind of thing. And that was really the only advertisement that we were seeing. Here's an example. Some of them have kind of come back, but the historic Smithton Inn, they're up there in Pennsylvania. They're one of our clients. We noticed that they offer a deal in their Google ad, and it kind of promotes them up to the top. They're also highlighting the specials and packages and the elopement package. This allowed them to go above Airbnb because it's something unique, it's something special. And so Google Hotel ads right now might be a little better bang for their buck than they used to be, because of the diminished advertising dollars of the OTAs. So you might be able to find a spot in there for Google ads. Google Hotel ads, definitely, because that's where you can show up on this bar on the right-hand side. Now, we typically are seeing return on investment 3 to 1 for the OTAs. And with Google Hotel ads right now, depending on your bid level set, we have seen our customers get up to 22 for $1 spent, so 7 times that. Now, this probably will not last for too much longer. Once you get into July, especially August, the peak season, you're going to start seeing Expedia and those guys throw a ton more money into this, and then the returns that you can get will be diminished. But right now, we're still riding that end of that sweet spot. Last year in mid 2020 was the sweet spot. You could have gotten first on Google every time with very minimal investment. So marketing trends for the middle. This is your peak season. Wanderlust. This is people are going to start breaking out. We're seeing the vaccine is rollout is starting to go okay. Everyone's just dying to go somewhere. 20,000 travelers surveyed by Booking.com. They said they want to travel more to make up for the lost time in 2020. And in December of 2020, the U.S. Travel Association reported 2/3 of travelers had plans within the next 6 months. So now the OTA, they will continue to promote nearby stays. You go to Airbnb, and the very first thing it shows is go near, right? They're promoting go near. So they're promoting that because that's what most people are searching for. So that's going to continue in through this second quarter and into your peak season. Fewer of your people coming to you are going to be coming from California and places like that. You're going to be getting a lot more from Pennsylvania, from Ohio, from New York, semi-regional. And of course, ideas for your next trip, on Expedia, they're doing it too. The very first thing that comes up, simple staycations, right? So you want to make sure you're focusing your marketing to the staycation crowd more than anything else. Your international travelers, your long distance travelers, they're not coming back for a little while. Focus on the staycation. And then of course, TripAdvisor, you Google that, you put in Utah, the first thing that comes up is home rentals near you. So it's all about nearby stays. And then the nearby stays, as we get towards the end of that second quarter, they'll start becoming a little bit longer. You'll start getting people from, Tennessee, so the bubble will expand a little bit, but it's not going to go international. Your international travelers are not coming back before September for sure. But your bubble will start to grow a little bit, and people are looking to kind of get out of the city. They're looking for these unique stays. They're looking for small towns. National parks set records in 2020. So if you're near parks and forests, that is something to keep in mind. 47% of the people within 7 to 12 months, they will travel within their own country. So medium term, and only 38% were planning. And 38 were planning within the next year. 43 plan on exploring new destinations, but within their own region. So again, people are staying more local. And then of course, you're going to have a big boom of families reconnecting. Families have been apart. If you have an event center where you can do family reunions or things of that nature, this is something families are looking to do second quarter and second and third quarter of 2021. They're looking to reconnect. They have not been, many of them, I spoke with a guy not too long ago via video conference. He hasn't seen his kids in over a year. So because of COVID, and he's in high risk. So once vaccine rollout and stuff, families are going to be reconnecting. 63% of travelers say spending time with loved ones is a top priority in 2021. And then of course, the largest subset, they say they feel comfortable at the beach. So now I know Pennsylvania is known for its beaches and its white sand, but so that might not apply to you. However, a little bit of good news, and obviously get inspired. Vrbo has the family trips, but a little bit of good news is that I'll show you here in a second. I thought it was next, but it's not. hiking and trails and parks. You have those in Pennsylvania, and those are big. Um, Now, add useful website content. This is something hopefully you're all doing now. This is something that it's going to be key for you to be doing. Um, Find things and experiences that are unique close by. In New Hampshire, these people are close to Mount Monadnock. Um, don't just list it. Now, a lot of people will have a page that just has things to do. We recommend, at least for your top things to do, create your own page for those. So that if they click on Mount Monadnock, it doesn't go to a government website or something. It'll actually go to a page that you have created for this mountain. In Florida, we see this happen in St. Augustine. Perfect case study. This lady has a fishing charter that she recommends, and if you click on the fishing charter button on her things to do, it goes to a page that she has created, and it's essentially an article she has written about this place. If you ever Google that place, her article that she wrote now shows up on Google as one of the things, the options that you can find. So that establishes her in Google's eyes as an expert on the subject and gives her organic SEO a boost. So you want to be found. So by doing this, this will help you get found. Now, will people read it? Probably not, but Google reads it, and that's what's important, and it helps your website SEO. So this would be, the things to do: dining, creating your own page. This is, as I said right here, this is an example of that. Now, I know that there's a lot of people out there. Whitestone does really good stuff for adding content. You want to make sure there's additional SEO keyword, at least 500 words. We do this as well. Make sure there's a map and a call to action. Make sure there's always book now buttons. Make sure that you have everything listed that they might need for each of these things to do. You need to bring sunscreen, or there is a park entrance fee, those type of things. Make sure that you are letting people know that clearly in each of these things to do. And the better your page is done, you can actually, when people search for these things, they will show up in the search results, as I said. Now, I said Whitestone does great stuff. Um, there's another marketing one I'm trying to remember that was really good. We do for 149, we do that as well, and we'll set up your Google AdWords for you. So there's multiple options out there that you can find to help you with good content, or you create it yourself. You know, become a journeyman or journeywoman and do your best. But we recommend making sure you have good content. Promote experiences. This is key. As we said, Airbnb, Expedia.com, Booking.com, TripAdvisor, everyone's looking for an experience right now. And not only promoting experiences next to you, that is key. Like, the canyons or the hikes. This is one we did for Utah here. Make sure that you meet an alpaca. We actually have one of our customers. He owns alpacas, and it's like a petting zoo. If you have anything unique like that at your inn, post it as an experience on Airbnb and Expedia. It is not that hard to register those on Airbnb or on Booking.com. But then people, when they're searching for experiences, they have whole experience pages on these OTAs. They can find your experience. Go pet an alpaca. Go do whatever it might be, a romantic picnic or something like that. But then you can also do online experiences, and Airbnb and them, they promote online experiences as well. The online experiences are not difficult. The overhead is not a lot for this. If you do yoga or if you have great cooking recipes, you can register an experience on Airbnb in those places, and people can find you and attend virtually your yoga class or your cooking seminar or your gardening seminar or whatever it might be. We as a test of this, we went on to look at some of them. One of them was a guy reading stories and all he did is sit in his lounge chair, and he would put on masks and read stories in funny voices, and that was an experience promoted on Airbnb. So again, you can get creative with this, but it's another way. We call it the billboard effect. If you have experiences on these OTAs, if you have experiences listed on your website, it's just more places for you to be found online, and it's a billboard effect and can help organic SEO growth. Popular experiences you want to highlight, picnic kits, hikes. I know Pennsylvania, you've got a lot of great places to explore: forest, kayaking, rivers, ponds. Um, People are looking to get to the outdoors. Now, this is where I was going before with the beach. Beach is kind of the big one that everyone feels comfortable at. However, hiking was the number one amenity that has taken over in 2020 and 2021. And this graph is a little hard to understand. It's from TripAdvisor. It's a year-on-year index and a week-on-week change. Essentially, the things that are farthest to the right and going to the top are the things that are the amenities and things that people are searching for on TripAdvisor to find what's close. So if they're looking in Pennsylvania, they might be saying, what hiking is close by? Or are there any beaches? Or do you have a spa? If you have those things, those are the top 3 things from TripAdvisor. I would recommend highlighting those, especially if you have beautiful forests nearby or things of that nature. If anyone's near Hershey, do the chocolate. Hershey chocolate, that's a big draw for a lot of people. The idea is find what is close to you or what you can offer that is not just a bed and breakfast, and let people know that that is nearby, and let people know that you promote it with your own page saying, here's why I love it and why I recommend it. Also think about activity-based ads. These are Google ads for activities. The reason I bring this up, I don't know if any of you know Zion National Park. It is a very popular national park here in Utah. It is one of the top 10 visited national parks in the United States of America. And their most popular hike is one called Angel's Landing. It's very famous. You have to go on this little 2-foot wide cliff, essentially. If you fall, you die. And there's a rope that's been kind of chained into the stone that you can hold on, and everyone just loves it. However, we found nobody has any ads for Angel's Landing. So looking at keywords that nobody's using. So we created a fake bed and breakfast, or campground, excuse me, called MayfieldCampground.com. For $9, we registered that as a website, put it on there, and we took out an advertisement, and it was pay per click, and it was, I believe, 4 cents a click or 5 cents a click, and that was it. And bam, we were number one. If you Google Angel's Landing, our ad pops up. There it is, number one, MayfieldCampground.com. So it might not be as easy in different areas that are high tourist traffic, but if you can find, I mean, this is a high tourist area, but nobody was using this. So then what we do is the people that we represent, our customers down in Zion National Park, we told them, hey, the people that were using our marketing services, we said, hey, here's some things, and now they show up on advertisements right there at the top of anyone that's Googling Angel's Landing. Angel's Landing, oh, here's Under the Eaves Bed and Breakfast, and I know they're near Zion National Park because they showed up right here. So find those keyword opportunities, and you can get a company. I know any of you, if you're ResNexus, will help you find those. It doesn't cost anything if you're already a customer. Whitestone and those guys can help you search those. You can actually go on and search them yourself. If you can Google revenue. I think it's called I'm trying to remember what it's called. Alexa.com, I believe it is, and you can find out what are the keywords that are searched the most. So highly recommend it. And then of course, looking into TripAdvisor Business Advantage. This is something that we have seen some great success with. It allows you to have your direct property details ready, and you can compete with OTAs and encourage direct bookings through that. So we would recommend it reduces the OTA commission, and you can offer direct offers. It's called TripAdvisor Business Advantage. So that's another thing we recommend. All right, so looking at far and beyond. So now we're going to fourth quarter of 2021 and beyond. Travel trends, as we said, they'll dip down like they always do in the fall. However, they will be higher than 2020. You're going to see an increase. And here's the U.S. forecast for beyond. Again, the travel and economics. This is STR. They do benchmarking. They do surveys and they gather data from bed and breakfasts and hotels. And then if you have an account with them, you can go on and you can see how you compare with other like businesses in your demographic and your location. So that's what STR does. You can benchmark yourself against other people, and that we integrate with them and provide that as a free service for ResNexus customers, and that's why we work with them to get this data. And they have shown the projections, and it's looking 2024 before we get back to the same index that we were in 2019. So large cities, they're going to recover last as we're looking into the beyond. People want to get out of the city. They want a place where they feel semi-socially distanced, that it's kind of out of the ordinary. So the big cities, if you have a spa, if you have something special that can set you apart, you need to focus on those type of fun experiences, maybe doing online experiences. The reality is your vacation rentals, your campgrounds, your resorts, your places that are getaway into nature are going to be recovering. They are recovering right now faster, and they're going to recover faster than people that are located in the heart of big cities. If you are in the heart of a big city, I recommend great internet and focusing on work from home persons. Try and get people, maybe do what they call day passes. We've seen a lot of people, if you have a conference room, you can offer day passes for people that can come in and use your facility for a day to work from your office. So those are things that you can market out there. It doesn't cost you too much to market something like that, but the dividends could be large. If you do events, this is going to be your bread and butter long term. We have an event backlog, anniversaries, celebrations, weddings, reunions. If you do weddings or event centers, ramp this up by fall, by kind of by third quarter, and especially in the fourth quarter. These are going to be taking off. So make sure you have your marketing appropriately ready and prepared to market to these entities, because this is going to be coming as the vaccine rollout helps and things start opening up. People are itching to get back, and people that already had weddings but only had 10 people, they're going to be looking to have celebrations. So you can, that's another thing we recommend people do, is send something out to people, say, hey, what about a celebration of your wedding that happened last year that you couldn't bring people to? So you could set up marketing for that type of thing. In a survey, again, this is from Booking.com, 38% intend to plan to make up a trip, and 2/5 surveyed said they intend to rebook a trip they canceled in 2020. Competition that you're going to be facing, deflagging. You're going to see a lot of the larger scale, like the Marriott and Hilton, not like the Hampton or the Courtyard. Those are going to stay, but your kind of larger ones, you're going to see them deflagging. We're seeing record numbers of them leave and become a boutique hotel to offer more luxury, to offer more getaway, to compete with a more of a bed and breakfast type feel. They're going to be offering something special like that. So just know that's in the pipeline, and they're going to be using all sorts of technology and things um, to copy what you do and then try and take it one step further. So investing or looking at additional technology might help you here. And just knowing what's coming can help you market against it and highlight your strengths versus their weaknesses. The rise of the OTAs, we hate them, but they're just going to get bigger. Everybody wants to book with them now because they're a known entity and they feel safe. They feel safe booking at these OTAs. They can cancel with them with you never know what disease or what's going to happen. So this is a warm safety blanket for people nowadays, and it's just going to get worse. So I would recommend getting an account with them. Also, the rising generation, Gen Y and Gen Z, they are up and coming. They lack brand loyalty. They don't care as much about your Hilton and Hyatt. They don't have the, oh, I have to stay at a Hyatt or I have to stay at a Hilton. They lack brand loyalty. They breathe, eat, and sleep digital. This is where your text messaging comes in. Get a text messaging platform, whether it's with us or somebody. This will help a lot. They do almost all their purchasing online, and they do a lot of research. So they will be looking at experiences and things to do. Vacation rentals and unique stays. If you have any of this available to you, if you have a vacation rental as part of your property, highlight it. If you have a yurt, highlight it. If you have a cottage or something, highlight this. This is what people are looking for now. They want unique stays. So if you have great breakfast, this is an example. One of our bed and breakfast customers at ResNexus is not a traditional bed and breakfast. They have RV campers, and then they have a central kitchen out in, or dining area out front with a shack where they cook breakfast for everyone in the mornings. But the place they stay is just RVs. So it's a unique, and they call themselves a bed and breakfast. So it's called the Arosa. You can look them up, but it's just a refurbished RV park. Sustainability, this is coming your way. 95% of Deloitte Business Travelers said industry should be undertaking green initiatives. So examples from the hotels with time, encouraging guests to conserve water, food and beverage sustainability, providing property credits for people that don't do housekeeping, efficient light bulbs. These are things that not necessarily you have to do, but this is coming. You're going to have to be competing with this because this is coming down the line, and Gen Y and Gen Z are even more environmentally conscious. Now, this doesn't mean you have to go out and change everything you do. Many of you already do have energy efficient light bulbs and already do recycle. So what you do is you highlight it. You get credit for what you're already doing. Highlight it, put those little stickers up in your bathroom. Think about conserving water. If you're in a nature type spot, people love that. And so it's not a ton of change that you have to do. Just make sure you're getting credit for the things that you are doing. But this is you're going to see this taking off here in the future. Everyone falling over themselves to show who's more sustainable. And then lastly, new technology. This is coming. Hotel chains, we already talked about contactless, but this is going to continue in the future. Hotel chains are already now using their phones. You can use your phone with the app as your key, as your digital key, so you don't have to even get a physical key to slide in and out. You're seeing in-room technology, getting rid of those guest directories. I've stayed at 2 hotels now that have Alexa in the room. So if I want room service or something, you say, Alexa, order room service, or Alexa, do this. And it's connected to the front desk, so you don't have to pick up a phone. You can even run your TV on the Alexa, so you don't have to touch a physical remote. These are not things you have to implement. Just know these are technologies that are already here and that will be advancing and that you're going to be competing against. And then reputation management. You can send text messages or emails of things to prompt people to give good reviews. The text messaging one is nice because it first says, "Hey, how did we do? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5? Anything that's less than a 5, it sends a text automatically. How could we have done better? If it's a 5, then it sends something to somebody saying, "Give me a review at this link, please." Um, and it helps you manage your reputation. And I know what a lot of you are thinking: technology, it gets rid of the human touch, but not every exceptional customer experience has a human touch, especially now that we're going in a post-COVID world. A lot of times, seamless digital integration works works well, and a lot of times it allows you to be in better contact with the customer than if you didn't have the technology, even digitally, and then you can be right there at their door if you need them. But so new technology is probably what I would say the biggest and most important thing going forward, that is coming, that you need to highlight and market and show that you are part of the next generation. But with that, I can take any questions. I know we're right at time, but if anyone wants, I'll stay on as long as you all want me to, or answer any questions that you may have.
Travis, can you see the chat box?
I can. Yes, give me
Yeah,
one
because I can
second.
read the questions for you. I don't have any questions that came in. While we're waiting for some questions, just Travis, I did want to point out to you that as a former state tourism director for Pennsylvania, we do have beaches. It's Lake Erie.
Oh, okay. So there you go. If you're near Lake Erie, highlight those. Highlight those, because people people up there who can't get to Florida or don't want to go that far, but they're within driving distance and they don't want to go to the Jersey Shore or something, drive over there and enjoy fresh water.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing
Where is
any
it?
questions. Um, Travis, thank you so much for your time today. We greatly appreciate it. For everybody on the line, this is being recorded. This was recorded. So here, probably by tomorrow, I'll have the recording, and then I will let you all know how you can access that. And it'll be
There
available
is
to,
one. There is one question in there. It asks about
oh, yeah.
this TripAdvisor Business Advantage. This is something that you can sign up for. They do a great job at travel advice. Everyone uses them. If you have a TripAdvisor account, there's also Trip Connect. People can book directly through TripAdvisor to you, called Trip Connect. I know we have that as part of our direct connection, so you can manage it in ResNexus. Other uh, I'm sure there's other cloud beds and things probably have that same direct. Cloudbeds definitely does, but other ones might have that same direct connection as well. But you can, in your business, in your TripAdvisor account, if you have one, then you can sign up. It's called Business Advantage, and so you can then set up deals and promotions in there and publish them, and then it will be highlighted on your TripAdvisor section, and depending on the experience or the deal. So maybe your the thing you're highlighting on your Business Advantage is an experience, or is a thing to do that's popular in that area. Then when people are looking on TripAdvisor about things to do in this area, that can show up as a highlighted post. So the benefits are twofold. It allows you, it's another avenue for you to be found. It's You want to have as many irons in the fire to be found as you can, and then if they find you there, by having that Trip Connect and that connection, they can book straight through TripAdvisor here, which is a much lower OTA fee. I think it's like 3% than going to a traditional OTA, or they can even click on the button and take you directly to your website. So it's the billboard effect. It's getting your name out there more, and it's, if they do book through there, it's either direct to you or it's a lower OTA fee. That's the benefit.
Any other questions? Okay. Well, with that, again, Travis, thank you so much for your time today. We greatly appreciated that.
And if anyone has additional questions, you can send it to Rose, and Rose can send it to me, and I'll contact you personally if you want.
Okay. Thanks, Travis. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody, for joining. I will get that link out for you. Everybody have a good rest of your day.